Today's episode of The Bottom Line is brought to you by First Bank.
Dave, the fiduciary rule, which I thought was absolutely dead under Donald Trump, has been raised and is now in effect as of June. As of now, a stockbroker on your retirement plan must act in your best interest above his own. Now, as a brokerage customer, you might have thought that he was always acting on your interest, but legally he didn't have to until now.
Oh, and there were all kinds of conflicts of interest built into the system. He might sell you the product that paid him the highest commission rather than the one that was really the best for you. That can no longer happen. In fact, mutual funds have changed their fee structure for the funds they sell through brokerage funds. They have so-called clean shares that have a flat, the same.
And this is kind of miraculous because Donald Trump stood and signed an order delaying this. Right behind him was Ann Wagner, our local congressman, who's been leading the charge to get rid of this order. He turned around and handed her the pen, but his labor secretary revived it. Now, I'm not sure that it's going to last. They're still reviewing it.
I mean, procedurally, the rule was far enough along that he could not kill it by executive order. He would have had to restart the rulemaking process and go through all of that. So that's why Secretary Acosta said, okay, the first part of the fiduciary rule, which basically says you have to act in customers' best interest, that went into effect in June. A more complicated part of the rule, which governs just how accounts and contracts have to be structured under the rule, is delayed until January, and some people think he may push that back longer to do some more rulemaking. But the first victory is here. I mean, consumers have that protection which they've needed for a long time. I think this will prevent all kinds of abuse. The brokerage firms would be afraid to, even if this so-called best contract isn't in effect, they'd be afraid to push the boundaries too far because they'll attract a lawsuit.
And the amazing thing, reading your column on this, the brokerage industry has spent 2 years yelling about it, saying, oh, it'll be terrible and we're going to all our small customers are going to have to kick them out of the brokerage. Read your column, they said, smooth implementation, no problem. We don't see them throwing out the small.
A person with Wells Fargo advisors likened it to Y2K. This was something they built up for, staffed heavily, thought there might be problems on day one, went quite smoothly. They do have a lot more paperwork. There's a lot more compliance stuff to do. That's going to cost the firms some money, but they say it's actually working.
But what we don't see is what they told us would happen, which is the small investor, the little guy being pushed on the sidewalk. They're still taking care of him. They're still taking his money.
Most of them are. We haven't really seen that yet. I think this is a good thing, and hope that it gets to stay in effect.
I agree.
First Bank Wisdom. You don't have to be around for a century to know what counts, but it helps. Let's look ahead.